Well, hello there, folks. How are you? It's Kenneth James Kerr once again, and thank you for joining me today in the video library. I do appreciate you being here today. Today we're going to take a look at the vignette on page 21 of the paperback, and it's page 27 for those of you who have the hardback edition. It's a very, very simple vignette. It's a very simple quotation. And sometimes we need that because at times we go pretty deep, right? But this one is simple, but it's not superficial. It's actually very profound. Here's what the quotation says. Even at the coldest of times, laughter can warm the heart. Let me say it again. Even at the coldest of times, laughter can warm the heart. Today we're going to talk about laughter. So let me first of all give you the story behind that particular quotation. Because sometimes an event happens, especially for those of us who are writers, an event happens in life and it makes an impression on us and you don't forget it, and later on you write about it. And that's what happened with this particular vignette when I was writing the book. You see, a number of years ago, I was a journalist. Most of you know that I was a minister at one point in my life, but I've also been a journalist, a news journalist, a news reporter. Now, out here on the prairie of Saskatchewan, I actually served 3 different newspapers. So I covered at different times quite a swath of this section of southeast Saskatchewan. Well, after writing for newspapers for a number of years, I created my own independent online internet news agency. And I operated that for about 4 years. We had 4.5 million views or something like that. And it was really an enjoyable experience. And that got me out and about. It got me into all sorts of situations, all sorts of conditions. Well, one of the things that I covered every year was an event put on by the Lions. Now, I also happened to be a member of the Lions as well, so I was, one of the organisers of it too, to some level. But this particular event is an ice fishing derby. And so on this lake, frozen lake, they get together, they sell the tickets for the event, they drill their little holes in the ice, get their vehicles out on the ice, set up tents, all sorts of stuff, and everybody starts fishing, and then after a while, you check the fish, who's got the biggest, they get the prizes, and so on. So it's a great event. It's a lot of fun, it really is, and attracts an awful lot of people and actually raises a lot of money for the Lions every year in that particular town. And I used to really enjoy covering it. It would go down, it'd be a nice day. It wouldn't be that warm, but it would be a nice day and blue skies and the snow and the ice and the camaraderie and all that stuff. And then one year, I went down there for the event, and oh, there was a mist, it was cold, there was a wind, and when I say it was cold, I mean it was cold. It was minus 30 degrees before you even factored in the wind chill. Well, everybody was bundled up, but there was still a ton of people there. But instead of folk kind of chilling back and enjoying it and enjoying a bit of the sun, even though it was chilly, they were like this, They were just all bundled up. And of course, I would go around and take tons of pictures, and normally I'd see their faces, and I couldn't see anyone's faces this time because they were all bundled. And then all of a sudden I came across 2 women, and they recognised me. I don't know to this day who they were because I couldn't see their faces, but they recognised me as the local reporter, and they threw themselves back onto the snow and then started laughing. And that was when I took the picture. And I'm going to try to add that picture to this. And we just burst out laughing. They were laughing their heads off. I was laughing my head off. And my temperature went up. I'm sure their temperatures went up. And I realised in that moment that even in the coldest of times, laughter can warm the heart. It was neat. And I do hope that I can share the photograph. So that was the story behind this particular vignette. And of course, I wrote the vignette a number of years later. So there you go. Laughter can warm the heart. Yes, even at the coldest of times physically. Now, what about the cold times of life? There are times you can be in the middle of summer and the cold times of life can come your way. Cold times of sadness, cold times of depression, cold times of anxiety, cold times of loss, cold times of change, cold times of illness, cold times of, well, you get the picture. We don't need to belabor it, do we? Life does have its ups and downs. Life does have its warm times and its cold times. And just as laughter warmed us up physically on that frigid ice that winter, even in the coldest times of life, as part of the coping strategy, as part of the healing strategy, laughter can warm your heart. And so laughter is so very, very important. I was checking on the internet before I did this video recording, and I did some Googling, as all of us can do, and I found all sorts of articles about laughter and about the benefits of laughter. And I want to share some of them with you. And I'm no doctor, I'm no physician, so I'm not going to even attempt to go into the details of what's going on physically. But just listen to some of these things on the list of what laughter can do and what different sources and big universities and big medical facilities and big names say that laughter can actually do for you and me. I mean, talk about benefits. There's mental benefits, there's physical benefits, there's emotional benefits, there's social benefits. It's just incredible. For example, it can increase the intake of oxygen. Anybody out there like to breathe? What a daft question, right? But it's true, right? Sometimes the best thing you can do in a stressful situation is take a deep breath. Well, apparently laughter increases the inflow and the intake of oxygen. Well, it also helps to stimulate your heart. Gets your heart beating faster. It increases the blood pressure for a moment, and then after you've had that good belly laugh, it all comes back down. So what's it doing? It's exercising your heart. So, you know, it's good for stress because it gets you breathing, and it's good for your heart health because it gets your heart moving a bit and then relaxing a bit. And that stimulates the circulation. And it also activates the T cells in your body that do what? Help to build your immune system. Well, heck, we're only 4 benefits in, and so far we're reducing stress because we're helping the breathing system, we're exercising your heart, we're increasing the circulation, and we're building up the immune system. Well, heck, even if it stopped right there, that'd be fine, wouldn't it? That's enough reasons right there to have a good laugh. Oh, but it continues. It releases endorphins. What does that do? It's a natural painkiller. Oh, wow. It increases your coping skills. It improves your mood. It helps to stimulate the feelings of happiness. Increases your self-esteem. Reduces anxiety. It even tones your abs because your stomach muscles are moving. Expanding and contracting. It burns calories. It lightens your burden. It inspires hope. It helps you connect with other people because folk like folk that laugh. And according to one study that apparently, according to sources that I saw, it came out of Norway, people who laugh a lot, on average, live longer than people who don't. So it increases your longevity. Now, somewhere in that list, I mean, I've got them written out on a board over there, right? Somewhere on that list, you might look at it and say, I better start laughing. Or I'm not laughing enough. I mean, look at all those benefits. And again, the quotation, even at the coldest of times, laughter can warm the heart. But you know what? When you look at that list, you have to say to yourself, well, you know, stuff just the coldest times of life. I want to laugh even in the good times. times. Heck, if it has all these benefits, why wait for the stressful times to laugh? And that's right. That's right. So I want to encourage you and I to take time to laugh. I really, really, really mean it. I mean, think of all those benefits. They're incredible, aren't they, folks? So what can you and I do about laughter? What can we do? Well, I'll tell you what we can do. Get deliberate about it. Build a strategy. Make a plan. Someone says, make a plan to laugh? Why not? Really, why not? So here are some ideas and suggestions, and this is going to be a shorter video, really. Here's some suggestions. 1, make time to watch comedy. Think of all the funny movies that are out there. Think of all the funny shows. I mean, it doesn't matter if you've got Netflix or not. I mean, you just need to go on YouTube. And even if you don't watch an entire funny movie, or maybe you don't have a movie collection at home, if you still have a movie collection at home, the reality is there's all sorts of stuff out there on the internet, on YouTube. It's absolutely full of funny stuff, isn't it? I mean, if you can't find something to laugh at on YouTube, you're not looking. So take time for it. Why not set an alarm every night on your phone? Time for a laugh. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, it's time for a laugh. So you go ahead and you turn on your YouTube and you have a wee look and you flip round it and you find something that you want to laugh your head off at. I didn't know whether to say head or heat. So halfway between the two, I got the word mixed up. That's funny. I like that. So that's why I'll leave the mistakes in. Then you can laugh at me. So set your alarm. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, time to have a bit of a giggle. So now you go into YouTube and you find something and you have a good belly laugh. That's a good strategy. Right there. Right there. Another idea would be to say, well, look for the funny side in life. You know that old saying, again, the glass half full, glass half empty. Well, you know, maybe the glass is also full of funny moments. And look for the humour. Look for funny things, or remember funny things that happened in your life. You know? Heck, even having a pet will do that for you. I laughed the other day. The dog went out into the back garden and he had a piss. And then, of course, there's this stain in the snow, right? He takes 2 steps forward, turns around, takes 2 steps back, and the look on his face when he sees this stain in the snow, it was like, where the hell did that come from? My God, there's been a dog in my garden. And I thought, you blooming prick. Oh, God. I mean, dogs are so funny, aren't they? But what about events in your own life that you can laugh at? Yeah, I remember years and years and years ago when I was a preacher. I was up in Inverness, Scotland, and we went down, I think it was to Dunoon, and I was preaching at a church in Dunoon. And I get down there, and just before I get up, I had to go for a pee. And my bloomin' zip got stuck. And it wouldn't shut. I'm pulling away with this damn thing and it won't. I thought, oh, hell, just carry on. So I tell my wife about it and she's horrified. And I said, I'm just going to admit to it. So I get up and I tell the congregation, you ever heard the saying, a funny thing happened on my way here? Well, in this case, a funny thing happened when I got here. And I pointed to the zip. My wife was horrified. I didn't care. I mean, it's like, you know, if you're going to notice that it's open, then I may as well point it out. Hello. So everyone bursts into laughter. So you know what? We all have those funny moments in our life. We may as well remember them to stimulate and encourage laughter. Well, read jokes, listen to jokes, tell jokes, share the humour, share the jokes. That's all part and parcel of it as well. I mean, even just me sharing those stories with you probably brought at least a smile to your face. Well, here's a good one. Laugh for no reason at all. Wasn't it the movie Arthur? Years and years and years ago. What was the actor? Dudley Moore? and he was playing Arthur, and I think there was a section in that movie where he started laughing, and somebody said, "What are you laughing at?" And he said, "Oh, sometimes I just think that I'm funny." I think that's brilliant. I really, really do. Or I think of the old Laurel and Hardy movies. I wonder how many in the younger generations don't even know who they are. But I remember when I was a kid, Laurel and Hardy was always being rerun on the TV, even though it was many, many, many decades old. And you remember Stan Laurel would sometimes he'd sit there and calm, and then suddenly, and he'd laugh, right? Laugh for no reason at all. Just laugh for laughter's sake. You know, there are some places where they have groups that get together once a week, and all they do is laugh. They don't even say anything. They put the chairs in the circle, they look at each other, and they start laughing. And you know, laughter's contagious. The more you laugh, the more you laugh. And if you're in a group and somebody starts laughing, especially if you're all looking at each other, can you imagine it? Then they all start laughing, and they laugh themselves silly for about half an hour, and then they go home. I can I've never been in a group like that, but I can identify with it to a degree. I remember, again, years and years and years ago, we went to see what movie was it? It was Crocodile Dundee. It was the first time Crocodile Dundee came out, and we went to Aviemore in the Scottish Highlands. We were there for a timeshare, and the movie was playing, so my wife and I goes to the movie. Well, the movie's funny, right? I mean, really, Crocodile Dundee's a classic. Well, there was a guy sitting in the row in front of us, and he laughed. I mean, he really laughed at every joke, at every nuance of the film. And all of us laughed around him because he was laughing. Like, even if it was a minor joke in the movie, this guy got going and we were all laughing. Years later, saw the movie again. It wasn't as funny. Why? Because that guy had increased the humour by his appreciation of the humour. Folks, I'm going to encourage you to develop your sense of humour, to look for the funny side around you, to deliberately put aside time for humour and for laughter. It's so, so important to develop and build your humour and to exercise your humour muscle. And in closing this video, and to get you laughing, I'm going to share with you probably what was the most outrageous benefit of laughter that I saw when I was Googling. You're going to get this one? You're going to get this one? Watch this. It said laughter increases your opportunity and potential of getting pregnant. Well, my first thought was, I don't want to get pregnant. My second thought was this, and with this I will close. Ladies, if you don't want to get pregnant, for God's sake, don't have any fun during sex. And with that, this is Kenneth James Kerr, and I'll see you on the next video.